So my logging operation is in its early stages and I'm still somewhat figuring it out. But I'm going to be loading up some of these equipment into my tractor bucket and we're going to head out into the woods and figure out how we're going to skid a log in the summertime. There are some really nice rigs that go on the back of the three-point hitch. In particular, there's a big grappling arm that goes and picks up the log, and it's really quite simple. My method is just a little bit simplified because those machines, I think the cheapest price I found was $6,000 plus tax here in Ontario, which is 13%. You're talking like $7,000 just for the rig that goes on the back of this. That may be something I'm looking for in the future, but for right now, that's out of the question. We're going to skid this log and bring it back, get it milled to the right size, theoretically, hopefully, and get it put up on top of the posts to make one of the beams of my sawmill shelter. I got this thing, These are like tongs, and this is, I believe, a 16-inch tong. I do need to find a bigger one than this. I did have a bigger one, but it kind of sheared off right here, it broke, so that's no good. There's no real way to attach this to this. That's gonna break because there's too much pressure right here. So I just use a simple chain method, and this grabs a hold like so. This is like a racetrack for you, huh? Olive? You like the racetrack, huh? Oh, you're peeing. Okay, that's okay. You a good girl? So we were up here early this morning because, it gets quite hot, so I wanted to get out here early. And I'm continuing the logging road. It's a big, huge project that we need done for the future development of the farm. And that's the truth. So there was one kind of half-dead tree. I dropped that and I bucked it up into pieces. So we're going to take some of that back with the tractor bucket. I still have a big stump there from it. But the good thing is my neighbor, Phil, has that forestry mulching machine. And that machine is like cool. And I'm pretty lucky, I guess, to have a neighbor like Phil that has a machine like that. Because these stumps, right, instead of me having to dig out these stumps, that machine just slowly grinds it down because it has all these, I don't know, diamond tip teeth on the end. But all this mess right here, I don't even have to clean it up because that machine is just going to grind it through. So I'm going to snake the road like this through here, and I only had to cut 3 trees. One tree was good. I'm going to use it. We're going to take that back to the sawmill right now. There's that one tree that was kind of half dead that I'm going to use for firewood. And then there was one tree that was literally just dead. I made one cut with the chainsaw and I just pushed it over. So we got that log right there to take back to the sawmill. And it's quite long. What I've done is I've measured out 17 feet. And then there's some leftovers for firewood. But you have to understand there's a huge challenge in skidding logs like this. For anybody who doesn't know, when you say skidding logs, it means you're connecting it to some kind of equipment and you're dragging it out of the forest. So in essence, you're skidding it out. This kind of thing is typically done in the winter when everything is covered in snow. And if there is a summer operation, they have, those huge equipments that has those big cranes with the big claws that just picks it up and then puts it in the trailer. Picks it up and puts them in the trailer. And you can get smaller homeowner type trailers like that. They have like a Honda engine on it and you start that up and then it moves the crane. They're really nice. The problem is the cheapest one I found is $25,000, brand new, of course. You may be able to find cheap equipment on the used market. But anyways, so I am, as of right now, still using my Mickey Mouse equipment. I can't make all these huge purchases in 1 year. I don't have any money. Bought the sawmill already. I gave my neighbor a little bit of money for the new excavator, so it's not like I got much left. Another better piece of equipment I could use on the rear of the tractor is a skidding winch. And that's basically like a big metal plate type thing that has a winch on it. And it's so much easier to just connect that to the logs and then winch it to you, as opposed to what I'm doing is connecting a chain and then I have to drive the tractor forward in order to pull the log out. Another challenge I have in working with my very simplified system here is these chains that are used to, drag the log out instead of using a skidding winch are extremely heavy. Like, I bet you this crate, I have two chains in here, a 16-foot chain and a 20-foot chain, and this is probably at least 40 pounds. So it's like lugging this around everywhere I gotta go. I think I don't want to do that long term. I really have to figure out what equipment is best for me, Lucky for me, as it stands right now, this log is a few inches off the ground, so it's easy for me to put the chain around it. Sometimes it's flat on the ground, and it's really a huge hassle to somehow dig a little hole underneath to slide the chain under the log. What's great though about what I did here just in a matter of a day? With 3 trees being dropped, look how sunny it is. There's sun coming in, and there's big patches of sunlight, which you don't see that anywhere else in the forest. And that's very important to realize, that you need to get rid of some of the canopy up above so that a lot of these young trees right here, most of these are sugar maples, so that they can grow. Trees don't grow without sunlight, guys. Olive here is always on guard in the forest. I just heard her barking and I came over to see what it is. She's on high alert. I mean, it could be deer, it could be turkey. Who knows? It could be many other types of wildlife here in the forest, but she's very protective, so she'll just bark on everything. You can see her looking left, right. Her ears are up. She's on guard. She's my bodyguard. She's protecting me, and I'm proud of her, and I love her. And she's being so good while I work in the forest, keeping me company. I picked these up from Home Depot. They're made by Simpson, and this is like a strong tie. It's a real thick metal, eh? And it's quite decorative. I like the look of it. They are a little bit pricey at the Home Depot, but I wanted to kind of stick with the look of my sawmill stand right here. So I'm going to go with that. I won't be putting that on the outside of the shed, just only on the interior, because the outside eventually is going to be covered by, like boards, like board and batten. There's two types of these things. There's the L shape. This is for going up against the shelter itself and on the ends. And then there's this kind that's like a T, and that'll basically hold the two beams together on top of the post. I'm just using the 2.5-inch headlock screws, and they're just black and they have a fat head, so you don't need to use a washer, and it just blend in really nicely. So I'm just trying to figure out the length that I can get. You can see that there's a distinct curve like this. So sometimes when you're cutting a tree, you don't see that. But I'm aware of it. If I go up to here, this is 13 feet. And I'll be able to use that beam. The rest of this log is kind of small. You can see the size of my hand. It's like I won't be able to get a 10-inch out of this. So the rest of this can just be firewood or something, because it's not very big as it tapers when the tree gets taller. So guess what? I couldn't get a 10-inch beam. I could only get a 6x6. So that's not going to be able to be used as a beam because it's too small. But I am going to get that beam on the bottom installed up here, so it won't be a total waste for today. Isn't too bad. Let's see how this goes. Hope I don't wreck it. I'm just getting used to the excavator, you know. I only have maybe 20 hours on it, so, but I think that beast is going to make my life so much easier with this sawmill, and I shouldn't even have any problem getting these big beams up there with that thing. It's just a matter of getting it sitting straight on that corner and on that corner at the same time, so I might have to get in and out of the machine several times to make sure that it's right before I'm actually releasing it or screwing it down. I might in fact actually screw it down even before I release the jaws, because maybe releasing the jaws is like a jolt, you know, like a big jolt, and then it might tumble over or something. So much harder than it looks. Steady wins the race. This was so hard. Okay, it's not quite right there. Not quite right there. So I need to get up there and kind of manually get it into position. The good thing is it's pretty much touching the workshop building. This is such a hard wood. Can't even get the screws to go in. So I need to drill just a little pilot hole. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. A lot of work, this shelter. This is a huge undertaking for me. For anybody who's doing this kind of thing alone. And this is a massive shelter. From the edge of that workshop to the edge of that post right there, it's 45 feet. So from one end to the other, that's almost 50 feet. So this is going to be a feat, an epic shelter. Got my first beam up. Kind of figured it out as I went. These other two beams, that's a 15.5 foot beam. This is a 13-foot beam. So those should be relatively easy. I mean, I can just reach the arm and place them. This one's going to be an easy beam right here because that's just a 6-foot beam. But then from that pier to that pier over there, that's 24 feet. So that's going to be a huge thing. Good thing I got this now. This is a lifesaver for stuff like this because my little baby tractor won't get up that high. I tried it. It doesn't get up that high, so it is what it is. Gonna be fun. So stay tuned, pound the like, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And I really do appreciate you watching. You guys take care, okay?